Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Quality Awards. My name is Ralph Peterson, and in this video, we are going to go over question P1B3 of the Bronze Quality Award application. This one is pretty straightforward. It's all about your organizational links. Who reports to who? Exactly. All right, here we go. All right, here it is. This is the actual application. Here you go, B3. Actually, it's P1. P1, we're still in the first category. P1. B, number 3, organizational links. Yes, I do know that we now have a duck, a blue duck flying across here. I don't know why, but I think my app just decided to add a little duck. We can make them fly too. That's fun. So organizational links, there are 2 parts to this question. They're both what questions, which is typical for the bronze here. What is the leadership structure of your organization, which just simply means who reports to who. That's the first part of the question. The second what question is if you are managed or owned by a parent company, well, what do those relationships look like too? Not only am I asking, or is this question asking from the center down, maybe there's a CEO or an administrator or an executive director at the top of the nursing home assisted living center. So not only what does it look like, the reporting relationship down through your organization, but also if there is a parent company, what does that reporting relationship look like going up from the administrator, the DON, the facilities, that kind of thing. So let me show you. Let me just get right into it. Oops. Let me go to my little worksheet. As you know, I like to have a little bit of space to work in here. So here it is. You can see I broke out both questions as separate. Make sure you don't miss any part of the question. And this is what I like to do. I like to pull out a company organizational chart, a company org chart. And so let me start in the middle here. I'm actually going to make one that looks a little bit like the way that I'm familiar with it, which kind of looks like this. And this is what it would look like for the admin, the DON. So the admin and the DON are pretty even, and they oversee different departments within the nursing home, with the administrator being overall in charge of everything. And so they're just a little bit lower than the admin, but pretty even. And then each one of these are all the different duck, get out of the way, all the different department heads. And then below them, maybe each one of those even have some assistant managers or supervisors or just some direct staff, right? So they might even just have direct staff under them. I know this is kind of an archaic way of drawing this, but you get the point. You're just seeing my organizational chart. And the reason that I started it a little lower like this is because, again, if you have a parent organization, well, then we want to know what it looks like going up. And the organizations that I'm familiar with, they usually have a few organizational, like leadership at the parent organization. Maybe there's a clinical. Maybe there's a clinical regional. There's a regional administrator, admin. Sometimes there's a life safety or a facilities regional that oversees, all of the facilities that they're running, all their life safety, the maintenance, the housekeeping, laundry, the facility, the actual facilities, that kind of thing. And then maybe above them then comes maybe there's a DO or director of operations or a VP, and then above them, maybe there's a COO. Yep, so I didn't mean to COO, and then above them is a CEO, and then maybe even above them is a board. Right, so that's really what we're looking for. First and foremost, we're looking for the reporting relationships. And remember, here at the bronze level, we're not drawing pictures. You're not going to be submitting graphs. You can't submit an org chart. What you're going to do is you're going to explain it to us. So you're going to say something like XYZ Nursing Homes leadership structure of our organization starts at the top from the nursing home administrator or the executive director at the assisted living center, and then maybe you have a director of nursing, maybe you have a nurse manager or whatever, right? Like you're just going to, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and that, and then let me say this. If there is no parent organization, if you're like, you know what, I'm a standalone, we don't have a parent organization, you would just simply say, we are not governed by, or we do not have a parent organization. I would totally accept that all day as an examiner. However, if you are owned by a parent organization, and by the way, if you are owned by a parent or managed by a parent organization, I probably would have already learned that in P1A1. And the first question about your organization, your overall organization, is probably where you would have, should have, maybe, could have told us XYZ nursing home as part of XYZ organization. I would have already learned about it by now. So here you're just going to, again, tell me about those reporting relationships at this next level above the administrator. So everyone, whether you're owned by a parent organization or not, everyone is going to go from the top, the ED, the administrator, the CEO, whoever sits at the top of your nursing home or assisted living center that runs the day-to-day operations, that person down. And then if you are not owned by a parent organization, you're simply going to state, we don't have a parent organization. If you are governed by a parent organization, you're going to share what those reporting relationships look like going up. This is not an in-depth, you don't have to stress about this question. It's very basic. Tell us what the reporting relationships going down, who reports to who, and then what are those reporting relationships going up, who reports to who if you have if you have a parent company. That's it. That is B1P3 of the Bronze Quality Award application. If you have any questions or need any clarification on any parts of the Bronze Quality Award or the Silver or the Gold, do not hesitate to reach out. And, of course, if you found this video helpful, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the video, leaving me a positive comment. I like positive comments. And of course, sharing this content with your friends and your colleagues. I am here to help you do one thing and one thing only: win a quality award. All right, we'll see you later.